Hello everyone and welcome to the May desktop time. We're having a few technical difficulties that we're getting worked out right now. So one of our prestigious panelists will be joining us. They're logged in right now as a member or watcher, and so they're going to become a panelist. So anyways, thank you very much for joining us today. We do have Gary DeHart, of course, who's here on behalf of Canon and Insightful Accountant. I'll introduce them both in just a moment. We always have Allison, who loves to hide over here. That's her picture. But if you really want to meet her in person, you'll have to come see us at Scaling. She will be at booth 55, and you can see her, or also at Latino Tax Fest, which we'll talk about today. And there's Albert, who's joined us. Thank you very much for joining us today. Today we are focused on talking a little bit about Latino Tax Fest. That's why Albert, I'll say Albert instead of Alberto. I'm always trying to pretend that I know what I'm doing. Just a minute, we'll introduce him. He's going to introduce us to all the services that Latino Tax Pros offer, including the upcoming conference in July. And Gary, again, is here on behalf of Canon today. And Gary actually mentioned to me they've been a participant in the Latino Tax Fest for the last few years, so he's also going to maybe give a quick spiel on how it's done for them at the same time. So thank you very much for joining us again. May Desktop Time. We're here sponsored by QBox. We don't talk about QBox. That's them back there behind me. But we're not allowed to talk about them because they're just the sponsor. That's where I work for, but they're just the sponsor. So we're grateful you could join us today. As a reminder, we'll talk about it at the end. Next month, we'll actually be broadcasting live from Scaling New Heights. So we look forward to not only meeting you if you're there, but also if you do join us next month, you can watch live. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce again our panelists to you. And I'm going to read their bios that we had on our website, starting with Albert, who has worked for Latino Tax Pros for 2 years now, gaining experience in tax law, digital marketing, and strategic partnerships. As a seasoned business analyst, he's passionate about helping out the struggling family in undeserved communities by offering them a path to success. In addition to Latino Tax Pros, he's also involved in his local community by serving on the school board. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, we have Gary DeHart with us also, who's a publisher and managing partner of Insightful Accountant. Maybe some of you know him from there. Digital magazine for the tech-minded accountant and small business advisor. DeHart's worked in media for more than 25 years and been instrumental in developing new revenue streams and business opportunities for the companies he's worked for. Prior to launching Insightful Accountant, formerly Intuitive Accountant, he was the associate publisher of Accounting Today. Prior to working in media, serving the public accounting market, he worked in media for employee benefit managers and brokers, automotive design, textile manufacturing, recreational boating. In addition to being the publisher and managing partner of Insightful Accountant, he works with select clients within the accounting market on channel development and growth. He's an assistant scoutmaster with the Boy Scouts of America, enjoys fly fishing, which he's going to be doing very soon, time on the beach and cooking on the big green egg, which I'm assuming is a barbecue, and spending time with his family. So
I didn't know you were going to read all that. I wouldn't have all that in the bio.
Well,
so sorry.
now everybody knows, man. You're a real guy. So,
come by. I love to cook on the big green egg. Absolutely.
Okay. I love to burn on my gas grills, so
there you go. Hard to burn
same
on the big green egg.
So anyways, thank you guys for joining us. We are going to start off by talking with Albert today. Albert, again, we had some technical difficulties. Glad you're here now. But we're looking forward to hearing what Latino Tax Pros have to offer in the way of educational resources and also about that Tax Fest that's coming up. And by the way, as I mentioned, we kind of sent this out late notice, but we are going to give away a registration for the conference too, according to Albert. So Allison's going to be giving you some usual questions behind the scenes for some QBox swag, but the big prize today is definitely a registration for the upcoming Tax Fest. So with that being said, Albert, how's it going, man?
Yeah, no, pretty good, man. A busy morning, and then those technical difficulties we had. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but thanks for having me on. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, you're very welcome. We're happy to have you and excited to. We're participating in QBox for the first time, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the conference and the services you guys provide in general to the tax community and Latino community.
Yeah, indeed. So we're Latino Tax Pro. We're tax and bookkeeping training, and English and in Spanish. Even though our name says Latino on it, people ask us, do I got to be Latino to join you guys? And we're like, no. Our name is Latino because we help you attract the Latino market by offering our training in English and Spanish. right? So if you speak nothing but English, you could go out, find a bilingual employee that maybe might be more dominant on the Spanish speaking side. And then you could train them on tax law. And then now you have a bilingual employee, right? So that's our ultimate goal, is we want people to expand their tax practice. And one way we do that is by the conference that Chris and Gary are going to join us in this year.
Okay.
So that's oh, sorry, were you going to say something?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. It's this is a fluid conversation.
Yeah, and I've actually, I mean, I appreciate you mentioning that, because, you know, here in California, we do have a high population of Latinos, but the reality is your organization is not just about serving that community. I mean, your conference is now, I think you told me there's going to be 2,500 plus people this year. Yeah,
no, we had 2,500 people last year. This year we're gonna cut it at 3,200.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot.
It's a lot of people, and then I think this is our 6th year, and every year we've been getting 500 more attendees.
Okay,
it's always been the same 500 more attendees, and it's because we see ourselves as like a bridge, a connector, where we connect the tax professionals with resources, right? Such as Canon and Qbox and all these other resources that they need to grow their business.
Okay.
So yeah, we connect tax pros with their resources, such as their tools and softwares, and with the education that they need.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And that also applies. I mean, you of course have your classes available for folks, and are CPE credits available also for tax professionals?
Yeah, so we offer CTEC for California. We're also CPE providers and IRS CE approved providers. So it doesn't matter what kind of hours you need, we offer them all.
Okay. So what are the, I know there's, I know the agenda is on the website. Do you happen to have in front of you the topics of the speakers?
I could open it up really quick.
Okay.
Yeah, actually just a few days ago, I want to say 2 days ago, on Wednesday, on Monday, we got some IRS agents approved that they're going to come speak. Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, so that's always a good one, getting them, getting CTEC and Franchise Tax Board. We try to get all our speakers are credentialed.
Okay.
Right? They all need to be CPAs, EAs, attorneys, or government workers.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. So on day one, some of the topics, again, because remember, a lot of people come here to get their credits that they need to keep doing taxes. So we cover all the basic ones like ethics and some of the tax updates and the generic tax law.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, but then like on the first day, we're going to talk about cryptocurrencies, right? I mean, they were a huge trend last year. And out of nowhere, a lot of our members were getting clients that were trading Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies.
Okay.
But they don't know how to do their taxes.
Okay.
I think that's, yeah, sorry?
I was going to say, that's got to be a big one for the entire industry, because
yes.
I mean, it definitely was a rapid movement last year in that direction. I think it's maybe slowed down a little bit. I don't know. I'm an old school guy. I like spending money, and it's funny. I've even been reading online about some of these cities that are passing bills to do away with money, some that are fighting to keep currency. So I think that's definitely the wave of the future.
No, yeah. We actually just talked to Square a few weeks ago. We were out in their office, and they interviewed our CEO, Carlos, on his perspective on the cashless society. Because how you were saying, there are some states that want to say no cash, right? It all has to be digital payment. But there's people that, I mean, I don't know. What's your opinion on that, Chris, on the cashless society?
I'm the wrong guy to ask. I'm old school. So I got a wallet full of credit cards, and I know we pay a lot of things online, and it's funny, I'll embarrass my wife because she never watches anyways, but when I first met her, she didn't even use bill pay, so she was writing checks all the time, and so I got her at least into bill pay, which saves an inordinate amount of time, and it's easier to download, etc. But there's a lot of folks, that's the same story. They like, tangible information. They like a check in front of them. They like to, see the payments that they're making. So, to each his own. I mean, we have this goofy product, supports desktop. We were supposed to be gone 7 years ago with the desktop going away, but here we are still talking about desktop. So So I think it has a lot to do with people's preference and their comfort level. And Gary's an old guy like me, not probably as old, but what do you think?
I probably don't have as much money in my wallet as you do.
Mine's empty right now. Remember, I have kids, so mine's empty right
me
now.
too. Tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you travel the country, right, Gary? So have you seen different places that don't use as much cash as some other places?
No, I've not run into that. I've read about it, and I've certainly seen it in the press, but I've not seen anywhere we don't accept cash. I've not seen that anywhere.
Yeah.
I still like cash.
Yeah, it's probably just in the city.
It's nice to have when I have it.
I know because we have a retail tax office too. We have 6 tax offices across our county. But so we estimate that around 30 to 40% of our payments are cash.
Okay.
So if we did go into a cashless society, I mean, what's going to happen to those 40%?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's always a consideration. And by the way, this is a total aside, but I also forgot to say hello to our Facebook Live people today. And we, for the first time, are on Facebook Live, so welcome to you folks as well. But yeah, I think, again, it's I think in some way, shape, or form, everyone's going to have to adapt to maybe just a debit card in the future, not have the cash in their pockets. But what happens when you go fly fishing? you can't use a credit card out there. Or
Well, and there's a lot of unbanked people, right? There's a lot of people that are unbanked.
True.
And how do you handle the unbanked?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something.
And that's just one of those topics that we cover that have a bunch of things to it, right? That are very intricate. So like on day 2, we are gonna talk about immigrants, visas, and taxes, and the multi-status family, because that's a really big issue. The parents are illegals, but their kid was born here, so they're a citizen. So what's their tax situation? Okay. Or the husband could be a citizen, the wife isn't illegal, and they have 2 kids, one illegal, one isn't. Again, what's their tax situation?
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's where we try to specialize in, because I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the Latino and Hispanic community are in situations like that.
Okay.
And they try to go and get their taxes done, and the tax person across the desk, they don't know how.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's where we come in, and that's been our big push for these probably past 2 years.
Okay. Yeah, and I can imagine that, again, that like you said, I think that's important for people to understand. And actually, when I was down for the open house last month, I really appreciated even sharing the change in demographics at your conference. I mean, so professionals should be there solely for the purpose, and I think Gary's even reiterated this to me, that the conference is really about, again, like other conferences, just getting information to learn more about how to serve your population, and ultimately how to expand your population of clients by providing a broader breadth of resources and options for them. So I think that, again, the conference, to me, I didn't really know a whole lot about it. I've learned a lot over the last 6 months, but for those of you tax professionals that haven't checked it out, you should go to the website and try to learn more about it, because it may be something that works very well for your business model. And by the way, I'm not allowed to say this, but it's in Vegas too. Come on. I know it's summer and it's hot. My wife's already said it's going to be hot in July, but it's going to be a great conference. So
that's all right. They usually have a big pool party, so you can go cool off the pool party.
That's another thing I don't talk about. That was my joke here. I said, don't even go to the website, because and it's funny. Carlos, your CEO, kind of reminds that, it is an opportunity to come together and to learn, like all conferences, but there's fun too.
We try to do a fun twist to it, because you're 8 hours in the classroom learning about taxes. I mean, right? So we have our mixers at the end of the day for people to be able to blow off steam. Okay. So on Tuesday, we have a mariachi come in, and we serve margaritas to everybody, and it's a big mariachi party for around 2 hours.
Okay.
And then on Wednesday, it's we buy out a part of the NGM pool, and then we have two pools that are just for us. Okay. And that's the one that Gary was talking about.
If anybody from QBox is listening, I am going to work, by the way.
So it's called networking.
That's right. I'm networking, dang it.
Yeah, networking. Yeah, so we have those mixers, and we do those too, because that differentiates us from the other tax conferences, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so we try to add our culture and the way we are behind it. A lot of us, the employees, Gary, you've met a few of us,
Oh yeah.
And we all have that same culture, and that's what we try to have our company have the same culture as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's a good group of people that work there. It's a great group of people who are who attend. I mean, this will be I don't remember if it's my third or fourth year, but I've watched it grow. But from an exhibitor's and a sponsor's perspective, it's the engagement. What's the engagement on the exhibit hall floor with the attendees? And it's there. There's two shows, historically where that happens, where the attendees really come in and they really engage with the vendors, and it's Latino Tax and Scaling New Heights. And those really are, in my opinion, the two shows where sponsors can truly engage with a lot of people. But then on the attendee side, it's where the attendees can go and they can learn a lot in a very short period of time about all the tools and the software, hardware solutions that are available in space. If they don't go to these events, they'll never even know about them. Even like Qbox. I mean, how are they going to find out about Qbox if they're not engaging in on the exhibit hall floor? I'm sure there's some web ads out there that they might find, but that's where they can really get the hands-on and get a good understanding, is events like these.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. It's funny because I always joke it's a blessing and a curse to have someone in call say, gosh, this is a great product, but where have you been? And so that for us, it's a great opportunity. We do want to, and the personality of our company is like Gary mentioned, we like talking to people. We like seeing where it's a fit. We don't try to oversell our product, but in a forum like that, we can actually talk to them about their specific needs and even advise them. If it's not us, we can advise them what may be something to consider for them. So for us, again, as an exhibitor, it's a no-brainer. We want those opportunities to be more involved with the public and really address their needs and make sure they're aware of who we are. So yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, because what we try to do with our sponsors, we don't position our vendors as just vendors. They're not here to sell you something. We love to tell our vendors, teach our members something, teach them, right? It's all about knowledge. And we tell our attendees, go up to the vendors and ask them, how can you help me grow my business? So we encourage them to talk to you guys. And as we've grown and grown, I feel we've gotten pickier and pickier with the vendors that we choose to let go to our show. Because like I said in the beginning, I feel we're the bridge and the connection to these high quality resources to the people that need them.
Oh, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, I feel honored to be able to go there. So I'm kidding. No, I mean, that's really, I appreciate even saying that, because it's some people that sounds kind of silly, but we are not. We of course have to make money because the kids are in school and everything. But the reality is we are an information-based company, and we appreciate being at these kind of events. And even what you mentioned, that they would come up and ask that question, how can you help me in my practice? Or that's a good day for us when we can, be more interactive and feel like we're providing a value to a client instead of just providing them a service they may or may not need. So.
Exactly. That's what we try to do, and I think that's where we get success from. And then that's why we've started going more into the accounting world maybe these past 2 years, because in the tax industry side of things, that industry is slowing down a little bit. If you're not doing more complicated tax returns or going into these situations that are not normal, companies out there like Intuit with TurboTax is eating up the market. Mm-hmm. So our members are thinking now, we need to do something different, which is they're going to start doing bookkeeping. Mm-hmm. Right? So we're kind of pivoting ourselves to include bookkeeping training. And that's how we met you, Chris, right? You met my colleague, Tony.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think, it's interesting you say that too, because a lot of the articles I read online from Accounting Web and all the different, online
or Insightful Accountant,
or Insightful Accountant.
Yeah.
Did I say that? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Insightful Accountant.
Hello.
I know. Okay, that was a bad one. So rewind the tape, play it again.
So fix it in post.
By the way, thanks for coming to the webinar on Insightful Accounting yesterday. Anyways, reading more and more that and it's always been fascinating to me doing this 7 years now, that when I meet with accountants, back then I used to meet with them more, they really build this bond with their clients where they really have an opportunity to provide information and resources, and I think they kind of limited themselves, you know, to what they really could be doing for them. So reading these articles, you read about things like, you know, financial consulting and you know, really being their one-stop expert to help them, you know, not necessarily with everything, but just, you know, kind of expand what they're offering to their clients. So because the reality is, like, you know, a lot of us were watching, you know, these resources, like you said, and I'm not going to mention any online vendors, but there are a lot of folks now that provide just, you know, good old file your, you know, 1040 at the end of the year services. So you really have to differentiate yourself and provide value throughout the year to be their expert. So an Insightful Accountant is a great publication, I got to tell you. Was that a good recovery?
That was very nice. Very nice. Your net promoter score just went up from me.
Okay, good. Been working on it.
I think one thing, Alberto, I can't remember if you talked about this or not, but the other thing I think that's so great about y'all's organization that rolls over into the event is that, I mean, you're in that business, right? Because you have, how many offices are there in?
We have six here in our county. Yeah.
So 6 tax offices in Salinas. So, you know, that's what you did first, right? That's what y'all did before you got into the training side.
Yeah. So to be an employee here at Latino Tax Pro, you have to take, you have to get your CTEC here to prepare taxes in California. So you have to take the course, and you have to take it live with one of our instructors here. And so our CEO really throws us into the tax world so that we could get, you know, the perspective of our customers. So that way we could feel empathy.
Yeah, that's great.
That's powerful, actually. You know what, Gary, that's a great point, because even when you visit their facility, I mean, these are actual folks that are working on taxes. And Albert, you just said all of you, but, you know, at some point you've all had that actual hands-on experience working on that side of the table. So you really, you know, not meaning that other conferences don't have that same level of understanding of the industry, but you've actually worked as tax professionals representing clients, and so that's an important point. So I think that brings a kind of a different feel or spin on how you're presenting information as someone that has the experience. So
yeah, definitely. Like when we're talking to members, they always say like, oh, how many tax returns did you do? And so we could actually go back and tell them, even if I only did 5 tax returns, I mean, you know, I still have that feeling with them.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Okay.
How is it a fair question to ask how many y'all did across the 6 offices?
Yeah. I want
a big
to
number.
say, I think this year we hit around 11,000 tax returns.
Wow.
Yeah, no, any tax preparer, they love telling you their number. They don't care if it's thousands.
I did too.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, like when you go to our conference, Chris, and that could be a good way to break the ice. Be like, hey, how was tax season? How many returns did you do this? And
exactly.
That's gonna open them up.
Yeah, I mean, but that's exactly right. And so, and just before we kind of transition, let Gary take over talking about Canon, but Albert, so I know you primarily, I was surprised actually at the open house, you actually have, I mean, there's offices in the Central Coast area, but you actually now have offices in North Pacific too, and like, did I hear that in Washington or?
No, they're not our offices.
Okay.
They're our members. So we say members, people that we feel we influence, because they come up to us for education and resources. Yeah, and we have them all across the country. We got 12,000 members across the country.
Okay.
And most of them are located in California, Texas, New York, and Florida. Those are our biggest areas.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Albert. I don't know if I'm hoping you can hang around. We're going to hear from Gary. He's going to talk to us about Canon. And okay, awesome. Because we are going to, at the end, we're going to give away. Don't leave us, folks. Must be present to win. So whether you're on Facebook Live or joining us here, we're going to figure out how to give that away. Allison's, I'm sure, working on it right now as we speak. So Gary, we'll go ahead and turn the floor over to you and tell us about Canon and I'm assuming the scanners, but I'm going to leave it to you.
It is all about scanners in the world that I live in for Canon. and Latino Tax is actually one of our resellers in this space. So we had some issues getting them set up getting their pricing set up, which I I don't know if that's fully finalized or not, but
It's in the works.
yeah, it's in the works. So actually, if whether you're a member of Latino Tax or not, you can actually buy your scanners through them. And we talk a little bit more about that later. So I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to do my best to not make it death by PowerPoint here. So try to keep them pretty succinct. Let me just make sure I get the right. Well, it's not showing. There we go. There we go.
Perfect. We can see it, Gary.
See that? All right. Unfortunately, it showed up on that screen over there, so I'm going to kind of have to look that direction.
Okay.
So, all right, we already talked about me. That's me. Well, I can't get it to advance here. Hold on. There we go. All right. So really, again, like Chris said, it's the group that I work with within Canon is the scanner groups. They're really desktop scanners, some other larger back office type scanners that Canon manufactures and sells, mostly through resellers and marketing partners. And there's my son in the background if anybody wants to say hey to him. He's going for a Chick-fil-A interview, so wish him luck. So anyway, there's joys of working from home. So again, Canon scanners, you know the cameras, you know the copy machines, but what most people don't know is they actually do sell these desktop scanners. And so what we're kind of positioning on it really for this purpose of this web seminar is talking about the path to paperless. The market has been talking about paperless. I've been in this space for about 13 years. They were talking about it before I got here, so I don't know, 15 or 20 years at the space. Both accounting professionals and businesses have been talking about going paperless. Well, what's preventing businesses, accounting professionals from going paperless? We don't know. Is it security concerns? Is it I just don't have the time? Is it another software or more hardware I have to purchase? I don't know where to start, or just some other thing. Maybe work for another business that tried it and it was a total disaster 10 years ago. And so you got stung and you don't want to look at it again. I think it's mostly people don't know where to start, and then they don't have the time to dedicate to it, is my personal opinion. And from talking to people I've probably exhibited with Canon at about 40 trade shows in the past 2.5 years. And that a lot of the feedback I get is just that they don't know where to start or the time to make it happen. So what's really required to effectively go paperless? Well, you have to have a scanner, and a scanner could be a dedicated desktop scanner like we have, like Canon sells and manufacturers. And there's plenty of other brands out there. Obviously, I prefer Canon. You could use if you have a big multifunction machine in your office, you could use that. It's not really recommended for several reasons, but mainly time, because you're up and back and forth to the scanner. And if that machine breaks, then you are down. And that big top piece of that multifunction scanner is not a replacement part. So, or if you use I have an HP multifunction small printer, but it's extremely slow. So you need a good scanner. It's going to give you good quality scans and at a good speed. You're going to need a scanner to handle future documents, and you may need a different software, although all of the Canon scanners come with Capture on Touch or Capture Perfect, which both basically are the software that's driving the scanner. It's basically you use our software to tell the scanner to scan and where to send the scan. You're going to need data storage. Could be local on your on your laptop or your desktop. Do people still have desktops? Or on put it onto a jump drive or an additional removable disk. Maybe additional services. Let's say you've been in business for 25 years and you have half your office is filing cabinets from people's tax returns, accounting stuff, and all your who knows what's in it. So you may not have the time or desire to do that, and there are services that will outsource, come in and scan all of your documents, clear out all those file cabinets, and put them in a scan and organize your documents for you. But then you need time, you need staff, you need the desire, and ultimately a plan that to make this happen. Good news is Canon again, the brand everybody knows, right? Everybody knows Canon. Makes some of the best scanners on the market, and they are ridiculously reliable. They are ridiculously priced, and some of them have ridiculous warranties. And notice the asterisk there, the legal disclaimer. The word ridiculous is being used in a good way. Unlike in those 3 photos, that's a ridiculous mustache. Dumb and Dumber is a ridiculous movie, but very funny. And the fact that someone would have only Judge Judy can judge me, only Judy can judge me tattooed to their leg is fairly ridiculous in my mind. But the Canon products are not ridiculous. They're just phenomenal products, really. So, but wait, there is good news. Canon does work with virtually every software out there. So we talked a minute ago about software or storage solutions. We're going to work with all of those because we're using ISIS and Twain drivers. And I've got Gary Coleman here. People like Chris, who are old guys like Chris, will remember, what you're talking about, Willis. That was his key line, right, in all the shows. But ISIS and Twain, just to make it simple for a person like myself, they are just a standard driver. It's what makes the hardware and the software connect and talk. And we have that in every single one of our scanners. Twain's in all of them. ISIS is in a couple of them, a few of them. But Twain is really what most of the software manufacturers are looking for in a scanner because it's easy plug and play. And then we also do have direct integrations, we have an API, and we also have plugins that, depending, again, on the software. So our scanners work with, pretty much any software that you are going to come across in the accounting space or outside of accounting. This is just a quick shot. I'm not going to go through all of those. There's too many, but we've got each of kind of the market segments as I look at it from accounting, tax and accounting standpoint. We've got good deep roots in pretty much every segment, and most of these companies that probably will be at Latino Tax as well. Some of those companies are resellers of Canon. Some of them are marketing partners. A few of them have written integrations, and again, so they just work, again, plug and play from within their software. So let's say, all right, great, I have my plan. I bought the perfect Canon scanner for myself. Now what? First off, and is read the user's manual. Raise your hand if you have ever read a user manual for any product that you ever bought. Yeah, nobody. I did read the couple of the Canon ones, and it's amazing what the tools can do for you if you take the time to read that book or read it online and see what the tools can do. And again, this is going to be true for pretty much any scanner out there. They've got a lot more capability than just to put a piece of paper in and hit scan. You got to commit to going paperless. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take time. But if you make a plan, as with anything, if you make a plan, set a date, identify who's going to be doing the work, where are you going to store all those documents? You're going to do it locally. You're going to do it on the cloud, combination of the two. Do you need new software? Probably not. You may. If you're using a practice management software, it's already built in. And then are you going to need more storage? Me, if I just had to do my 2 file cabinets here or 2 file drawers, I would not need more storage. But if you've been in business for 10 years and you've been doing people's returns and their accounting work, or if you're a small business owner who's sitting here and you've got multiple file cabinets, you might need some more storage, but storage is cheap. And go to Box, go to Dropbox. SmartVault's one of our partners who we work with pretty closely. It does a great job. File Center is another one who is a reseller of ours. And they've got a great tool, great product, and very intuitive interface. And this is actually a desktop product. It's not even a cloud product as well. So Chris, you'll like that. So the prices here are MSRP. Nobody pays MSRP to my knowledge. And so I've got them kind of broken down. We get portable. We have a P208. Chris, unmute yourself. I'm going to test you here.
Oh boy.
Yeah. How many pages a minute does the P208 scan?
I'm going to guess 208.
No.
Okay. I lose.
Good
Dang
guess, though. Good guess.
it.
8 pages per minute. All
Okay.
right. How about the P215?
Okay, so the 208's 8. I'm going to say 10 per minute for the 215.
Why not 15?
15. Oh, you're so messing me. 8 and
You,
15. Okay, I got it now.
you're not winning the drawing.
Took me a while.
And the same thing as you go down. The 225, 230, 240, 260, that's how many pages they scan per minute. And we're scanning front and back with all of these. The good thing about the Canon products is they all function exactly the same. Now, how they scan is going to be a little different based on the model. But the 208 and 215, they're small, they're lightweight, they plug into your computer, and great for on the go. And but relatively slow, relatively low price point. And then as you move up, like the 225, if you don't have a lot of desktop space, that's a great machine for you because just the way that it's built. 230, 40, and 60, again, they're scanning 30, 40, and 60 pages a minute. And as you go up in speed, you go up in price, and then you can see the warranties there on each of those machines. These are the retail prices. Pricing is set by the reseller. So like Latino Tax is a reseller. They would set their own price. You can also purchase Canon direct. Like right now, we've got a discount code we will share that where you can go and purchase from Canon directly. And these codes kind of, I think the one I have ends at the end of this month. So it's good for about 2 weeks. But it would get that M260 down to about $700, I think, for the discount that we have. Then where do you purchase it? Just reference that. So Latino Tax is one of our partners. Lucian, their product's called File Center, is another one, and they've got some great deals. And their software again is a file management software. So that's a really good tool if you are going to, again, scan all your folders and go paperless. You can pick up a File Center tool. I think it's like $250 for the desktop software, and you're up and running. NATP, NSTP, they're both resellers of ours as well. Abacus Next is one, and then at Abacus Next, their product that you might know is Office Tools, but they are one of our resellers as well. And then eFile Cabinet is coming online with us shortly. And there, eFile Cabinet is in the similar space with File Center or Lucian, and would be another potentially good source for the file management and the document storage. Other partners who we have, I mentioned Smart Vault was one, Arrow Workflow was another one, a couple others out there that Neat and Receipt Bank are two other good ones. And I think pretty much all of those except maybe Arrow, I think, are exhibiting at Latino Tax. So it's be a great way to go in and really understand the difference in the products and what they can do for your business.
Gary, can I say something about your scanners?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's good. If it's if it's bad,
all right, never mind. No. You sent us a box of maybe like 6 little portable scanners. Mm-hmm. Our district manager loves those. I mean, he always comes and says, "Hey, when can we get more of those scanners?"
So now you're a reseller. He can just buy them from himself.
Yep, yeah, buy them from us. Yeah, those little portable ones are great. All our tax preparers have them at their desk, and it makes everything much more efficient.
Yeah, it really does. And it I mentioned before about a lot of at shows, and people say, why should I use this versus my printer that has a scanner on it? Well, they're usually really slow. Or a multifunction machine. Well, everybody can use one multifunction machine. Well, in tax season, do you really want your tax preparer standing in line, mm-hmm. waiting on 3 people to scan or copy or scan tax returns? Buy a $300, $400 scanner, and it's going to last you. You saw the warranties; they're anywhere from 1 to 3 to 5 years. And like on the M260, which is a 5-year warranty, that is a full-on. If it breaks, Canon's going to give you a new one. They don't really have replacement parts in them, so chances are they're just going to send you a new one, and then you box your old one up, you send it back. And one thing I didn't talk about was support. And the when I loaded a couple of the different softwares onto my computer, my previous computer, I had a problem, and it was a user error, not a machine or not a software error. I couldn't figure out where the computer had placed the software. I just couldn't find it, couldn't find the driver. And so I called Canon, called the 800, what's it called, 800 OK Canon, and didn't tell them I'm affiliated with Canon. I just called them and said, hey, I have this machine having this problem. They dialed in, found it, and in 10 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes, I was up and running. So it's U.S.-based support, English speaking, and for most people I see at shows, they're like, wow, English speaking U.S.-based is very important. And so, and they answer the phone, and I really think this isn't Canon talking, this is me talking. I think they're able to answer the phone because they don't have problems with their machines. And not that they're all sitting around twiddling their thumbs, but if you build a good product, then you don't have nearly as many service calls to deal with. And that's really it. I mean, that's the product line. Again, works pretty much with any software. We do have a discount code on the screen that's good at that Canon Direct site. And my information, that's my email address. Make sure I've got it right. Yep, that's my email address. If you have any questions or want to, specific recommendations on a machine, I'm happy to talk to you for that about that as well. So just shoot me an email.
Excellent. And we'll also, as a follow-up to today's webinar and to you folks online, we'll send an email out tomorrow that will provide information about both Albert and Gary, so you can take advantage of these offers in addition to reach out to them directly if you so choose. So thank you very much, Gary, for explaining Canon. That's interesting. I for myself, I'm probably going to go buy a scanner tonight. So, because we use the dumb desktop, and it takes forever, and it's slow, and it's annoying, and so yeah. So, I think I'll be out at a big box store buying a scanner tonight. So, anyway, so thank you very much again, and we've been running some raffles in the background. Allison has, but we did decide, or Allison decided, that Albert's going to go ahead and pick a name for us, that who's going to get the free admission to the Latino Tax Fest. So Albert, I don't know if I see your glasses on, you must have been seriously picking someone. So
yeah, I'm just going to choose a random name here.
Okay.
Here it is, Lori Stein. Are you still here, Lori Stein?
Lori Stein must be present to win. Lori Stein, send us a message. You're going to Latino Tax Fest in Vegas.
Yeah, it's a $349 value.
Wow, awesome. Okay, well, we'll make sure we'll work with Albert to make sure we get that to her, get her the information she needs. As a reminder, we've been talking a lot about this event that's taking place in July. There's also this other small event happening next month, Scaling New Heights. Gary's going to be there.
I'll be there.
So, and I think actually Tony's going to be there. I saw somewhere.
Yeah, my colleague's going to be there, Tony.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's actually, I met Tony in Boston. I mean, we both, he lives like a mile from here, and he works like 20 miles from here. So, but we met in Boston. Go figure. So, but anyway, Scaling New Heights next month. Just as a reminder, again, we don't like to talk about QBox, but stop by our booth and get a hat or get a binder. Hats are new this year. You can get a shirt. You can tell I have these all ready to go. We have new shirts this year that are kind of cool. We have our good old conference bags that people seem to like. This year we also have water bottles. Stop by and get a water bottle. Those will go quick. And then we have our good old QBox pens and our wristbands. I got to get rid of those because people laughed at me. So anyways, we sincerely hope to meet you. Actually, Sunday night, we're going to have Seth David at our booth for an hour or so, just answering QuickBooks desktop questions. So love for you to come by and ask your questions of Seth, and hopefully stop and say hello to us as well. If you haven't heard of QBox before, that, of course, would be a great time for us to introduce you to what QBox is about, get you a brochure, whatever you need. And again, we'll be broadcasting Desktop Time live next in June from Salt Lake City at Scaling New Heights. So that's something we haven't done before. So Matthew, if you're watching, I'm relying on you, buddy. You're going to help me with that one. But we're going to broadcast live next month. And then we're going to come back in July. Looking forward to having all of you join us again, both for Desktop Time and again to join us at Latino Tax Fest. It's going to be a great conference. We'll continue to talk about it and promote it through our viral resources that we have here. And thank you very much again, Albert, for joining us today. Anything you want to close
I think we
with?
got some questions here.
Oh, okay.
They're on the Q&A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think somebody named Linda saying if we connected with Mariette Martinez and her 2 Latino partners.
Okay, that's Linda's messing with you because she's in Southern California. I think she knows. So.
Oh yeah, so she knows about it. Yeah, we just partnered up with them to offer accounting courses, and I think
awesome.
they're going on right now. And even
okay. Okay, and I shouldn't mess with Tus Tres Maestras because they are awesome, which is Mariette, and I always blank on the other 2 gals' names.
Vanessa and Carmen.
Vanessa, Carmen. I just put myself on blast. Gary already got me earlier, so now Vanessa and Carmen can get on me too. So yeah, they very much. In fact, I did see one of the courses. They already started the courses, like you said, a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
You guys are in partnership with them. So, and they'll, I'm assuming, be at the conference.
They're going to speak there too on the conference. Okay. And the course that they're doing right now, we're going to offer it on demand after too.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, it's like accounting 101.
Okay, awesome. And Lori is still with us. So again, Lori, we'll make sure we get you the information about, because you're going to Vegas, Lori. I see she says Las Vegas in July. Stay indoors. People go to Vegas in the summer. I don't know what to tell you. It's a cool place. So anyway, so we'll look forward to having you there.
I'm going to put my email on the chat so everybody could have it.
Okay.
And Lori, if you could just send me an email and then I'll get you registered.
Okay, and thank you very much again, Gary, also for giving us a great introduction to Canon. And
absolutely.
Again, Canon's going to be in Salt Lake City next month, and you're going to be in Vegas in July. So stop by and meet Gary also in person. He'll be there to tell you all you need to know about scanners. And so we'll look forward to seeing you there also, Gary. And so thank you very much to everyone for joining us today. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Very much thank you once again to Albert and Gary for joining us today, and for Allison, who, again, you're going to have to come to the booth to meet her in person, either at Scaling or at Latino Tax Fest.
Is it going to be the cutout? Is it going to be a cutout like this?
No, it won't be. She'll be actually there. We don't have cutouts at events, so you have to stop by and say hello to her. So thank you very much again to everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the months to come. Take care.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris.
Okay.